Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica, and today we are going to talk about equipment for exercises for overweight individuals. We've been making a series of videos about exercises for overweight individuals, the most important things that they need to do, stand up and learn to rotate. And we've been talking about a very specific program designed for that, using an 8X adjustable club in order to accomplish this task, because it goes from 3.5 pounds for the handle plus the screw top makes it 5. This big weight here is a 5-pound weight, and this little one's a 1.25 pound weight. So it's fully adjustable, and we can start super light and progress it up as you repeat the program many times. If you start with a 5 and you get to a 10, there's 5 weights. That would mean that you would repeat the program 5 times through. We've had some questions about whether or not you can do this with a mace, and the answer is yes. Here we have 2 maces, both incline fit maces. The 10-pound is what we might call a standard size. A standard size where you would hold the middle of the middle. There's a bunch of knurling in there, and you will figure out how to do the same exercises: inside circles, outside circles, and shield casts. The problem with a mace is if your movement is not already good, the handle that is sticking out from holding it in the middle of the middle can become an issue. It's not a big issue, you can overcome it, you just have to know the issue is there. By holding the mace in the middle of the middle, the handle is going to end up lining up underneath your arm. When you're doing your swinging movements, this handle has to move freely around the body. The problem for heavier individuals or individuals of greater girth is that as they do these movements, the handle can catch on their body or on their arm and make these movements much harder to accomplish. Can it be done? Absolutely. Is it easy to do in the beginning? No. Mace is easy to use as a club if you already know how to use a club. It's not that it's not a good idea, it's just that it's going to be a harder idea. The goal with all of this training is to make it as accomplishable as possible with the minimum amount of time and the minimum amount of equipment. So some people who buy a mace and try to run this idea of inside circles, outside circles, and shield casts will get discouraged because the mace handle is hitting their body. With the 8X club, there's nothing sticking out at the bottom, so there's nothing to work around. If your movement is not great, which is why we wrote this program, to force people to learn to move better gradually without a big chunk of handle sticking out, you're more likely to succeed in the task. You can use any club you want. It doesn't have to be 8X. You could also use an On-It 5-pound club and a 10-pound club and a 15-pound club. The problem with that is that On-It doesn't make a 6.25, a 7.5, or an 8.75. So if your movement's not already good, the jump between 5 and 10 pounds tends to be really hard for most people to accomplish. It's not that you can't accomplish the task, it's just that it adds a problem that probably doesn't need to be there. You can do it any way you want, it's all free information, do with it as you will, but this is the best solution to the problem. It's adjustable, the handle doesn't get in the way, and when you do things like shield cast, there's not a bunch of handles sticking out to clock you in the head, which is a problem with maces. When people are learning to do this shield cast, this long handle, as they're learning to do this rotation, can clock people in the temple. It's not a bad idea. Eventually you're going to learn how to do it, but in the beginning, if you hit yourself in the head really hard with a giant chunk of metal, you're less likely to repeat the training again. We don't want that. We're always trying to make it as survivable and as good as possible, and we're trying to leave you the greatest room for variation. 8X clubs are expensive, I am aware of that, but it is still the cheapest solution to the problem that I have found. If there are other better solutions, I'm unclear what they are, but I'd love to learn. If you have a better idea of how to accomplish it, let me know.